Good morning. Good morning. Java Delight will uplift you. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Grab your coffee. Stay tuned. This show is about to begin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, what is happening now?
My name is Brandon Croucher. I am the CEO of Delight Cafe. I was having some fun right there with Miss Ilse, not letting her know that I had her on air. Ooh, there's my screen. Now it's working, right? Glad to be here this morning. Happy Friday, Miss Ilse from South Africa. How are you doing, sweetie?
I am doing very well. It's shitty weather. So my English is leaving me today quite often, so just bear with me. The weather is so horrible. The wind is blowing, everything. This morning when I woke up, it was pouring down with rain, and I thought, geez, I have to go give my car in. I'm gonna get wet. It's horrible outside. So I walked into the kitchen and I went, it will not rain while I am outside today. And it did not rain once. And now it's starting to rain a little bit, but I'm not outside anymore, so now I'm okay. It can rain.
One less thing in the way of Ilse becoming the Ilse that changes the world. I love it. I love it. So, no, we were just having a conversation in the background before the show. I didn't know about the strike that's going on in South Africa. Can you tell us?
Yes.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
So in South Africa, we've got strike season. So once a year, they give the guys an increase and nobody's happy and the unions fight for more. And then they start striking. So they tell the people, okay, we're going to strike. But the strikes are violent because they stop the people from going to work. They'll set the taxis alight. They will pull them out of the buses. They will set trucks alight. They do not allow anything to happen if they strike, because if people go to work, then the negotiations take longer.
Yeah.
So the companies the companies are already checking what can they do, how can they still work. A lot of guys go into night shift or work undercover, use unmarked trucks and everything, but it gets very dangerous, especially in the industrial areas.
Really? I did not know that your strikes were that intense. You were telling us that like they set the truck on fire. Like that scared the crap out of me just by itself. Like
with service delivery as well, they've got informal settlements here where they've got little shacks where the underprivileged people live, like a communion. They call it a informal settlement. So what was I going to say about that? When the guys protest because there's no running water, there's no electricity, so they vote for the ANC, but they live under horrific conditions. When they start protesting, they will set tires alight, let no cars pass. The cops don't stop them, they just check them out from the side of the road. Nobody stops South African strikers. When they want something, they'll burn down a whole library just not to pay school fees.
That's interesting. I didn't know you guys were that. I knew you guys, there was problems and all that, but like, wow, that's a big one. I don't know. Have you seen any, I'm going to have to ask Bob this too. Have you seen an increase in your goods? Like we learned earlier this week that Europe ran out of gasoline, petrol, all that stuff. Brian Tracy says he's waking up.
I'm almost going to sleep and you guys are waking up, you lazy butts.
Lazy butts? You have 6 hours of good energy ahead of us that you were supposed to be passing, and you're coming on here going,
I'm sending it. The winds are very strong, so it might take a little bit longer. You'll get Friday vibes on Saturday.
So yesterday, when you and I got off air, I jumped in and I got a lot of work going and I got a lot of stuff going and moving and shaking. And we sat in on a conference call with Gary Vee, the motivational speaker. And he actually was teaching about business and how he's built his businesses. And it was, I wasn't supposed to stream it on here, but I did for Ilse and I to watch together, just to hear the things he was saying and teach us about. Oh, Gary's amazing. His inspirational speeches. Later in the day, I got a call. It was Mike. Mike and I were planning on going and like spending the evening together, just drinking, throwing darts, whatever. Just it's my last night before sober October, so we were going out. By the way, what a way to go out. I feel hungover right now. like sober October starting with a hangover. Probably not the best idea. Good morning, Jaybird. But like I get a call from Mike. He goes, "Hey, how long until you're here?" And I'm like, 5 minutes. What's up? And he goes, "I need you to come right away. We got to go help somebody." So his friend, his coworker, with her kids, their car broke down. Like the tire popped. So he's like, "Do you know how to change a tire?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do this." So we get there, we're changing the tire. Long story short is the kids just played in the grass next to us and all that, ran up and down. Mike and I changed the tire, and her and her friends are like making jokes about us, like being manly men and taking pictures. Now Mike looks homeless, like he doesn't shave his beard. And I tell him this all the time. That's my joke. Like his beard goes like out like this. His hair is like down to his shoulders, and he's got the bald starting. So he looks really great. He's sexy as can be. And the one girl that works with him, it's his boss actually, so it makes it even funnier. She starts sending pictures to her mom saying, "I'm okay. This guy stopped to help me." And now her mom has no idea that she works with him, that she's his boss. For really. And then all of a sudden, she's like, "Are you safe? Are you sure you're safe?" Like, he looks like he'd be, like, kind of creepy. Well, then the next picture she sends, he acts like he's, like, choking her and pulling her away. Her mom's like, "Brandon and the Tire Changers. New machine shop band, something." Like, Brandon and the Tire Changers. I play the drums with, like,
with
a
the
wrench.
wrenches.
Right?
And empty oil tins.
By the way, Wednesday's show, I was told Wednesday's show of me just talking to everybody and picking songs was one of my best shows. People were like, "Brandon, that was hysterical," because no one can hear the music and you're sitting there going, and it's just the silence of me headbanging.
Like Party for One.
Right? And my friends are like texting me like, "Dude, that was funny. Like, I had fun just watching you." It's silence. And then Brandon's like,
there was this live concert 2 years ago. They call it Liefde by die Dam. Hi, Calvin.
I knew you had to know Calvin.
Yeah. Calvin is from Brown Soul Productions, the podcast that I was telling you about, the meeting that I have tomorrow. Mr. Calvin is from there. I was busy telling you something. Oh yeah, 2 years ago we went to. It's a concert. They call it Liefde by die Dam. So it means love by the dam. And then they've got all the South African bands playing there, and they had these stages where you go and you plug your earphones in, and then you listen to the music, but you can only hear the DJ and the music if you've got your earphones on. So it's like a silent dance floor. So you see all these people moving to the different kinds of music, but you can't hear what they're listening to.
Are you talking about a silent disco?
Yes, almost like that. And they're at the different stages like that.
I have seen those. So when I owned my restaurant downtown in Cleveland, they did that at this little like area outside, but we didn't know they were starting it. So everybody has headphones on, and there's people going, and then there's other people that are just like, and I'm like, I don't know what music they are listening to because everybody has a different beat. So funny as hell.
It's funny to watch.
It's awesome to watch because people are just being themselves. It's like pureness. And that's what I like best about it. Is like it's pure, just everybody going out there having fun. So we got the tire changed, and I put the tire on, and Mike and I tighten it, and I go I go, all right, well, I need you to do me a favor. Car's down. Everything's done. I'm even putting stuff away. I go, all right, but I need you to get in the car. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, I need you to start the car. And she goes, why? And I'm like, well, you got to tell me what the tire pressure is of the tire that with a spare tire, the donut we just put on. Your car's not going to tell you that. Your car's going to not do anything like that, no matter how new your car is. So I had put this on.
I thought that you can. That's why I was like, okay.
Not when it's a replacement. So we put it on. She's in the car. I walk around. I knock on the window. I go, did you figure it out? And she goes, I have no idea. I'm like, all right, well, try pushing this. It was a good 7 to 10 minutes of me just picking on her with her friend and my buddy just laughing. And the kids are in the car. They're laughing. They caught on faster than their mom did. It was so funny. Mike and I then turned around. This is where the story gets really weird. And Mike goes, let's go to a bar we used to go to throw darts. And the only reason we haven't been there in 2 years is not just COVID, but they had a drive-by shooting once. And we were there the day they had the drive-by shooting. It was Zog. And Mike and I were like, Mike, me, Sarah, and his wife, Miss Mo, were there. And all of a sudden you hear on the windows, and everybody's like, what the? People go outside, a car takes off. Like just, we're all freaking out on it. So we haven't been there in years. 2 years, COVID helped make it easy for us. Well, we go back yesterday, all right? Apparently, it's changed. And when I say it's changed, this bar has changed. It went from being a hole-in-the-wall, fun type of bar where you go and you get a drink and you sit there. It'd be like Bob I would take to it. Bob would feel like a man's man there. Like Bob, when he came to Cleveland, he's like, I need a biker bar, B. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And like the bartender spitting in your drink just to make sure you know you're not allowed to.
I don't want to go to that fault.
So
put in my drink, I'm gonna hit, buddy.
Right? Like, so hi Kev, what's up, bro? So we are there, we go to his bar so we can go throw some darts, have some fun, get a little bit out. He looks around at one part and goes, B, when did this bar change? And I look at him and I go, oh, you mean now it's a gay bar? And it's not just a gay bar, it is an African-American gay bar. So these guys and girls, trannies, everything, we had no idea it switched. This place was so packed. They're singing all these songs and karaokeing. I look at him and I'm like, I'm fine. Are you okay? And he's like, and I'm like, what? Like, he's like, I'm going to be fine. I feel I should be karaokeing. And I'm like, oh my God. He starts singing. He's out there dancing with everybody. Next thing I know, I'm playing darts with a group of guys I've never met before in my life, teaching them darts. He's outside with a whole nother group of people. And like, yeah, like it was the most, I lost my friend for like 3 hours. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. But like when I find him, he has no idea the name of the person he's talking to. He's just having a fun conversation. I'm talking to these random people. Did I get asked out? I'm at a gay bar. Have you looked at me? Yes, I didn't just get asked out. Like the guys I was playing with asked if I wanted to go back to their house, and I'm like, I really apologize, guys, if I led you the wrong way in any way. I'm straight as an arrow, but I have so much fun meeting new people. And the one guy goes, "That's just you haven't had enough drinks yet." And I go, "But that's the thing. You're not going to say that to a woman and be like, oh, you haven't had enough drinks, then you'll think I'm attractive." And he goes, well, no, I don't want it there. And I'm like, right. So why do you want to get me drunk? Is that healthy sex? No. And he just started laughing. We played darts. We played games. I had so much fun last night. And I'm actually going back in 2 weeks to meet the owner of the bar because we're going to be trying to plan an event for the LGBTQ community because this bartender is why this place packs out. Like everybody there was there for this girl. Her name was Bree. She's like, ready? 4'1", African-American girl. So small.
That's short.
Like, and she is a bubbly personality. She's pouring shots with 2 different hands. She's talking to people. She's doing shots. I'm like, you are a bartender. I'm like, do you want a job? She goes, I like my job. I go, no. Just for private parties and stuff, make some extra money on the side and we can let you invite people. Yes. Her whole bar started lighting up. So now I'm going back in 2 weeks and everybody there knows I'm coming back in 2 weeks because I put it in my calendar. So we're all excited. We're going to have a dart night with the LGBTQ community. Like, that's just how I roll.
So awesome. That is so awesome.
I'm going to make Bob come in town for this one. We're going to go to the African-American bar night at an LGBTQ in an African-American bar. How's that? I think you have no idea what you're going to get into, Bob. You're going to have way more fun than you realize. Like, I take people to things, and they're like, how do you get in these situations? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, all right, let me give you one more good one that's happened to me. All right. So when I lived downtown, shut up, Bob. I see you talking smack about me in the background. So I literally once was at a club, and my buddy owned the club, and he goes, hey, nobody booked the VIP room. Can you take it for the night? Because I was already planning on coming and having a drink with some friends there. And I'm like, yeah, that way it looks full. It's how you make it look, keep the place looking bumping, and why people would want the VIP room, right? While we're there, it's a Saturday night. All of a sudden, these 5 biggest guys I've ever seen in my life walk in, and they look at us, and there's only 4 of us in there, and they're like, you guys are partying with us now. And we're like, okay. They're like, everybody out there are losers. We're in here with you guys, the winners. And I'm like, okay. Next thing I know, he goes, now I already have the bill to pay. He goes, give me that. Takes it. I'm paying for the bill the rest of the night. I'm taking care of you guys if you let us party in the VIP room with you. And we're like, okay. He orders another round of drinks, all the food, all the everything. He ends up calling some friends. This room went from 4 people, me and my 3 friends, to him, his 5. 2 more people show up from his stuff. And then all these women start showing up. Okay. And we're all sitting there going, what the hell? Food galore. Like, the bill easily went over $1,000 in US dollars. Easily went over that. Okay. There's just that many people, and the place isn't cheap to begin with. So he then goes, all right, I'm not done. We're going to still go out. I'm like, where are we going? He goes to the casino. He hands everybody $200, even people like me who he just met. He goes, let's go.
Does he want to adopt me? Do you have a number? Does he want to adopt me?
I tried to get him to adopt me, and I offered the same thing.
I don't have any other talents. I'll keep quiet and just cook.
He was really nice. He ended up having fun. It ended up being the entire offensive line and the starting quarterback for the Oakland Raiders, a football team that no longer is Oakland now. But they literally took us out partying all night. The Browns won their only game of the season the next game, because we got the entire offensive line drunk. So Browns fans know how essential I am to getting the Browns drunk, okay, or the other team's drunk. I love it. So
they're losing all their games in October because it's sober October.
I was not Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to do this, but we're going to have Bob Seymour and I today. There's no more Elsa. Look at it, the puppy.
Yeah, it's Gruntley.
His name is Gruntley?
That is my favorite kind of dog.
I think it's
a
Stitch,
French.
but
It's a French bulldog. Oh, I
yeah.
Stitch and
his mom. He's got separation anxiety, and I don't know why, but all of a sudden he's just taking a liking to me, man. His mom ain't around. He's in there.
No, wait. He's got social anxiety, like when his mom leaves separation.
Yeah, whenever his mom's not around, he's just always looking at the windows, and where's she going? And he sits in my lap and just. Yeah, he's a good dog.
That's his whole life. That's why the only thing he knows is.
Did you?
Do you know what helps? I did. What'd you say, sweetie?
And I was grunting like the dog.
Oh, you were grunting like the dog? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I call him Gruntley Mongrelli. One of the Mongrelli brothers.
Like a gremlin.
Just one of the Mongrelli brothers. He's an adorable little thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what helps with anxiety for dogs, especially separation anxiety? We should send them a pack. I should send them some Delight because you could literally open a pack, put it in the dog's food. No joke, Bob. For real.
Yeah.
It's not a heavy dose. It's a very light dose. But that way the dog naturally calms itself down. So when mom's out at work or dad has to go to work building rocket sciences, he literally turns around and can have the dog knowing it's just calming naturally. Like the dog will be.
And you really think we'd give that to the dog?
Yeah. It's not illegal. That's actually Bob, do you want to know the funny thing? That's actually some of my biggest clients.
Oh, yeah?
So, like cats. Cats get anxiety.
It's like just asking for a friend, right?
Bob, you're making it sound like I'm a drug dealer. It's not like I'm that type of drug dealer. I'm trying. You know what? Give me your friend. I want to talk to the rocket scientist instead. He's not going to come. So, just so you know, CBD for your dog is not going to hurt it in any way. It's going to help with the.
Stitch has been on CBDs.
Yeah, but not my CBDs. See?
But he does good. He does good. It works. It helps.
Yeah, see, now we just need to get you on mine so that way it makes you guys happier.
Dog, that French Poodle's been, he's just with her all the time. She does care of other animals and stuff. And so she's always, having her dog with the other dogs. So she just takes the dog to work.
That's a great
she
thing.
takes it to work so much that now it has separate.
Because of COVID?
Well, that made it more, yeah.
That makes sense. That's why I asked, because like my dog literally now cannot be without me. Like freaks the F out if I'm not home because he got so used to somebody being there all the time. And it's just one of those things. I just had to ask about it because Bob was like making me sound like I'm like putting like methamphetamines in your dog's food. And I'm like, that is not Delight at all. Like,
I'm sure try it. I mean, it works. We had another dog that had anxiety when the lightning came in, and the CBDs worked for it too.
That's exactly what I thought.
I knew I had moved to Boulder when I had my dog on Prozac and mint tapes. And, I'm in Boulder.
Dogs have mental. Maybe we should have a show one day where we show one day a week where we actually talk about animal health as well.
There we go. There we go. I'll listen in. I'll let you
animals' mental health. I mean, because they also get abused on how to work with abused dogs.
Yeah,
actually, that was. Go ahead, Bob.
Boulder's like this really weird place. They've got a really nice barbecue place up here, and I went in the men's room one night and walk up to the urinal, and they had, you're in Boulder if they have to have a sign over the urinal that says "not for drinking" or hand washing. I have the picture. I can prove it. I've got the picture on Facebook, man. Like, if you're in the middle of like a brainless society when you got to tell them not to drink the water or wash their face in a urinal, man. It's like, I'm serious, man.
You walked in on somebody washing their face in a urinal?
No. They're over the urinal.
Oh, thank God.
In this bar up here in Lyons, Colorado, they got a sign over the urinal that says "Don't drink the water or wash your face," man. I'm like,
I'm not being weird. I would not know what I'd do. So, like, Bob, back in the day, you're an old school guy. So do you remember back in the day when stadiums didn't have urinals? They had, like, troughs that you had to pee in the men's restroom?
Well,
So
I never went to any stadium. I never been into sports, man. I could never see chasing a ball around, kicking it or whatever. And then you can't eat the damn thing when you're done. It just never made sense.
So this is going to kill my joke on that, but you're 100% right though. Like there's a lot of people who don't like sports, but me growing up, you'd go to concerts and stuff.
Oh yeah, I went to concerts. Yeah, but
because I remember the first football game I ever went to, they had a pig trough. Like they had 40 grown men going to the bathroom, peeing into this thing all at once. And I remember being so disgusted. And I'm like, what the F? Here's the thing. Professional sports are for crazy people. You know why? Because that trough if the opposing team's fans came in there and started crap in any way, they would literally throw people into these things. Like, there's video of it on YouTube. It's disgusting, and I could not imagine. Like, I remember being a 9-year-old kid going, there's a lot happening here. Brian says the methadone in Minneapolis had thorough. I have friends who has a section of the original of his basement bathroom. Wow. That's pretty stinking cool. I love when people have that history of their cities and stuff. Like when the Browns stadium was tore down, the fans went nuts and literally ripped out seats of the stadium and took them home and like made them into like their man caves and stuff.
Yeah. We had
This
troughs
was
in the Marine Corps. You know, I mean, in Pieterse Island, we all just you just pissed in a big trough. Yeah.
But it didn't bother you at all? I don't know why it bothered me. I'm an 8-year-old kid, and there's like 40 grown men peeing around me. There's a little bit of an intimidation factor as an 8-year-old there, okay? It's like I got shy, I got nervous. It's like childhood trauma. Like,
Nah, man. In boot camp, man, they destroyed any. You were brought down to nothing, man. You didn't have any dignity or nothing, man. The Marine Corps just tore your ass apart and then rebuilt you, man.
Aww. Well, Brian Tracy.
So sad.
No, it's meant to break you to get the best out of you. They break you to be able to be submissive and strong for the Army because you're there. And I thank you for that, Bob, because that's a hard thing for people to commit to, and you didn't just do it. You signed up and went strong. Welcome to Java, hosted by Brandon the Dealer, Ilse the Shark Trainer, and Bob and the Anxious Cats. I don't know where the cats come from, though.
I don't know, too, man.
Oh, my God.
Cats with anxiety.
Brian hasn't had enough coffee this morning, man.
You were just scared because their units were the size of your forearm, right, Brandon? Yes, exactly, Brian. 100%. Good morning, you beautiful soul, Miss Sherry McQueen. We love you. Thank you for stopping by.
Sherry.
So Bob and I have had a fun conversation about what I've been up to, what he's been up to. But Bob, you're in Colorado right now. What are the temperatures? What are you doing? And what's been going on?
Oh, I ain't been doing a hell of a lot because I ain't had any money to go anywhere. But the temperatures are definitely a lot cooler. It was like 80 3 days ago, and now it's in the, I think it was 49 when I got up this morning, and it ain't a hell of a lot colder or warmer right now. I was going to go down to Elizabeth, but the day I was riding in from Chicago, they called me, and the guy had COVID, so I had to wait until he got cleared from his doctor, and he got cleared from his doctor, I think, on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, his girl came down with it, so I can't go down there for another 7 or 8 days. So I'm here. I am. No, it's okay. I needed the break, man. It's I've been taking some downtime, getting some writing and some studying done, and helping a couple of friends around the area build a shed yesterday, and just staying busy, trying to, and take it easy.
That's all you can do, and you take care of yourself. So Brian says, if you decorate in brown stuff, is it a man cave or a doghouse? Well done, Brian. I give you credit on that one. That is a good one. That was a go. I did laugh. And then Brian Michael, I see you here. You are in Minneapolis, and while Bob may not be a sports guy, my Browns are playing the Minnesota Vikings. If you are a sports guy, let me know if you'd like to talk smack back and forth a little bit this week before the game. I just love shit talking.
I heard talk about stuff. I don't follow sports at all, but I heard something about the Browns and Minnesota yesterday or day before. I heard that if they play good this year, they'll let them in the pros next year, man.
That's true. They're both competing to actually become the next professional sports team. They're going to try to have them switch from football to rugby, though. I don't know why. It's just been nobody's going to notice a difference other than there's no offensive line. And what is a scrum? I don't even know what a scrum is, you know?
I know what a scrum is. I know the answer.
Hey, there's Gruntley in the background.
Gruntley's like, I'm not on TV anymore. I need to get back in the shot.
My son says, what do you want to know? My son says, what do you want to know? Let me quickly show you something.
Uh-oh, Bob, we're in for it now, Bob. I hope you're ready for this.
This is.
What's that?
That's your son playing rugby?
That's my son playing rugby. You must see all his trophies and stuff. Man of the match, man of the series, player of the season. He's got so many.
Yeah, how old is your son?
He's 13 now. Yeah, he was about 7 or 8 or 9.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, he says, he was 10.
He was 10. Buddy, hey, all right, I'm asking a question. Bob, I don't know rugby, so we're going to learn together. Are you okay with this?
I'm all right with it.
You're stopped in Colorado. You've got a rocket scientist just like building you things, but he still hasn't built you a squirrel trap. I'm on to it. I got you.
That squirrel launcher thing. Yeah.
Like, that should have been the first thing he built when you got back.
I know it, man.
Like, I was rooting to see this. But, like, all right.
We were still talking about it even yesterday, man. I want to see a squirrel flying, man.
Right? And they land on their feet. They're like a cat, right?
Oh, yeah. You know, if there happens to be a hawk flying over, you know.
If you could get a video of that, I think you'd have a viral video. Like, the squirrel goes flying, everybody's like, no! And then if hawk just catches it and keeps going,
I know.
Like, I want to see this now.
I've got the vision for it, but I just can't get him to build the damn thing, man.
You know, that's the first step. And then the second one is getting the hawk train to catch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the second phase.
Well,
So
we'll chuck pieces of chicken in the air or something to train.
that's a great idea. Like just, he missed it. You get a hawk with like chicken stuck on its face and its feet. It's like a cat when you throw cheese on a cat's face. It freaks out. So I don't know.
I used to put duct tape on the paws of my dog's feet, man. Oh, God, drives them nuts, man. Just put a little square duct tape on the bottom of their pads, man, and they dance.
You must try. You take bread with peanut butter, and then you put it the roof of their mouth.
I have a friend here while we're down in, I forget where it is now, but I had this friend that's got this glass tabletop, and he's got this German Shepherd dog. It's not the brightest candle on the menorah, and I tease him with a little piece of meat and then throw it up in the air and it land on the tabletop, and he's trying to get it through the glass.
Oh, that's so nice and mean at the same time.
I know. You give him a little piece so he really is enthusiastic about it, and drop a big old chunk on the tabletop and watch him try. Oh, God.
Oh, my God. That is cute. That is adorable. So are you going to do anything fun this weekend, Bob?
Actually, I think there's a fundraiser, I think, tomorrow for a friend of mine, this husband and wife. They're taking him off of life support today, and she just had a double mastectomy, and we're going to do some kind of fundraiser. I think it's this weekend. Other than that, I just go day to day, man. Whatever happens, happens. I don't have anything particular planned or whatever, but I'm open for whatever happens, man.
I love it. Now, I'm going to switch over to Ilse for a second because I got to know something about rugby. Rugby has like the field goal unit like football, but it's not where you like line up and kick it. You're supposed to be like running and you drop and kick it. Is that correct?
Well, you get points for drop kicks if you drop kick, but it's usually they run and then they score a try behind the pole, and then I think it's 30 meters. I'm not too clued up with the rules that how exactly it works, but then they stand and they place the ball, and then they kick it between the poles, and that's an extra 2 points. So it's 5 points for a try and then 2 points for a conversion.
Yeah. So I had no idea how any of that worked, and you're teaching us stuff, and your son is going to have to video. We're going to have to see what he can do on the field just so I can that could be our sports segment that I've been asked to do, you know?
He is very, very good. He's got a rugby brain. His dad also, we've got a thing in South Africa, which is Craven Vierk. It's like because rugby is such a big sport, where all the best players from the schools go, and his dad also played rugby very well. He was I don't know what it's in English, a scrum skakel. I'll have to find out for you, but he got a award for being the best rugby player at this tournament. So it runs in the family, the rugby blood.
That's actually awesome. I'm having Brian.
He started playing when he was 5. And he never wanted me to watch in the beginning. Then I'll say, can I stand and watch you practice? Then he goes, no. He makes me walk home. I have to hide behind the tree. Otherwise, he won't play. Until he got into it. And then he just went, okay, now you can watch me play. I'm okay now. But the first couple of times, I wasn't allowed to watch him play.
That is adorable.
He's 13 now. He turned 13 in April.
Yeah. Like, I have to be honest, Elsa, that's pretty stinking cool. I knew nothing about rugby. Now I know how to get 2 points in rugby and a grum shuffle. I knew, Bob, we learned what a grum shuffle is.
Scrum.
I'm not going to say I learned what it was. I heard, but
He's like, I'm not going to claim anything.
I played little
Rugby's brutal. Rugby is a brutal game. Yeah, rugby is a brutal game. I mean, with American football, they've got all the padding and that. In rugby, they've got shorts and they've got their rugby jerseys, and that is all they wear. And they tackle. It's a full contact sport. They tackle exactly the same, if not harder than they do on American football. It's a brutal game. The guys play, you just see blood. They don't have helmets and things like that. They play with rugby shirts and shorts. Go Google a match. Go Google
that's probably why. That's probably
if you
why
want
we
to
have
see
so many
two good teams playing, New Zealand and South Africa, or Australia and South Africa, these three, there's always a competition going, who's the best. So we won the last World Cup.
Well,
so I have to tell you a story. I have to tell you a story about this World Cup.
You tried, Bob. I see you trying, Bob.
I'm so sorry, Bob.
Good.
Guys from New Zealand and guys from Australia do not like South Africans because there's always an issue with the rugby. Everybody wants to be the best. So this guy from Australia sends me a message right after the World Cup. So we beat them, or did we beat New Zealand? We beat New Zealand, I think, but in any case. So the guy sends me a message, hi, I'm this and this and this, and I'm from Australia. And I would like to get to know you. So I send him a message back. Hi, I'm Ilse from South Africa. We're the Rugby World Cup winners. And he blocks me.
I mean, I think that's a phenomenal way to start off a conversation. Bob, what were you going to say, buddy? You were saying something.
Well, I forgot what the last thing I had a Biden moment there. But anyway, I played Little League one time when I was a kid. I think I was in like 4th or 5th grade. You sign up for it in like February, and the only reason I signed up for it was because all my friends were. And then when Little League started, it started like the 1st of April, and that was like trout season, and I didn't want to do it, man. I was like, oh, hell no, I want to go. My dad would not let me back. He said, you signed up for it, you're playing. So
you played 1 year.
Just one season, man. I was so pissed off. I wanted to be trout fishing, and now I got to go swing this bat at something I can't freaking eat when I hit it. Yeah.
I mean, you could technically hit the first baseman and just don't tell anybody if you eat them or not.
I was not a happy camper at all, man.
Really? Like, sports was like my outlet. It was my only way of connecting with my dad. So, like, I talked to my dad because of sports, and it was how we were able to connect. But for me, it was I'm the guy that wants to be the athlete that's not the athlete. Like, I'm on the basketball court playing with the starters that played in college, and I'm the guy there like, all right, just play defense. Just don't let the ball girl get the ball, okay? Like, you're gonna make sure like you block everybody who's on the sidelines. That's how bad I was at sports. But like, They still wanted me on the team for some reason. So Brian's talking crap to me. Look at this. I banter with the best of them, bro. I have to give it to you, though, because 3 years ago, the Browns were a joke. So being so awful, they have drafted a half-decent team. And we got some signed players. When you start drafting and making trades, truth be told, when we became the laughing stock of the NFL, the Browns were like, oh, we're going to trade you. People were like, oh, we're going to trade you there. We're going to trade you to Cleveland. And that was the joke. It was, you act up, we're going to trade you to Cleveland. And one player goes, trade me. And they traded him. And since that moment, the atmosphere in the city's been different. The quarterback, the drafting, everything. We won one game in 2 full seasons 3 years ago. 2 full seasons, won 1 game. Last year, we won 10 games. We haven't seen 10 wins in 5 seasons. So for us, this is a big game. Our offensive line's going to need to play good. Brian, friend request me on Facebook, bro. So you and I can go back and forth with this. Minnesota Vikings this weekend. You and I are going to go back and forth. Honestly, I love your coach. You guys have a good team, a good quarterback. So I'm making friends. I am making friends by talking shit. The last game Brandon played center for the Browns. He hit 3 home runs. Yes, I did. We have a few more people that stopped in. Mandy Atterbury, good to see you, sweetie. CK Ford, love you. I love what position so much? Like, I'm just gonna set that. Hello, Pastor Bob Seymour. See you.
CK.
She is 1 in a million, and guys, Bob looks cold. Renee says Bob looks cold.
Good morning, Renee.
I was like, this is gonna be one that I gotta share. And you ready? I got one more. This one's gonna catch you off guard. You ready? I played a season of rugby in college. That's why I know how to be a hooker. Brett, let's not lie about this. We know why you know how to be a hooker in so many other ways. It's how we afford to stay on air. Thank you for your hooking.
Vegas, right?
Right.
Hello,
Brett's travel, man.
I'm not 12. I don't have Facebook. I'm not 12. Yeah.
Do you I don't know where I can tell you to message me. Do you have TikTok? Do you have LinkedIn? Do you have Instagram? I own businesses, so I have to be on these things. You know how they teach you how to count in Cleveland? 0-1, 0-2. 0-3. Well done. Brandon, you have become a sportscaster announcer. You have the enthusiasm, voice, and the energy. I think this could be fun. Like, I just sit here. Ilse's taking the shark, teaching it how to swim. The shark goes deep. Shark's going. It's coming back up. So Ilse raises the chum. Oh, the shark's out of the water. We have a breach.
That's exactly what I sound.
I remember what I forgot, man.
Go, Bob. Talk, buddy.
I was flying into Denver a couple of years ago. This little boy was dying, and I flew out here to Denver. Just a quick thing to go and pray for the kid. So I had Wi-Fi on the plane, and I was just as soon as the wheels hit ground in Denver, I went touchdown in Denver. ... What is something Bronco fans wish they could hear? And I get. Oh boy, there's a lot of diehard Bronco fans out here, and I fired them. Oh boy.
You fired them up, Bob. I know you're used to going to biker bars and being the tough guy and just showing up, and everybody loves you. But ask Dave Brown from Victor Tango how you can get a hold of me, Brian. I will. Yesterday's Victor Tango episode, in case nobody caught it, about veterans was absolutely amazing. They reached into talking about pets for people with veterans and all that. They talked to they hit a couple great different areas, and the episode flew by. Like I was sitting in the background, like writing messages like in for the questions, and they didn't even be able to see them because of a couple of them, because like they literally were just so into the conversation. So I recommend everybody give it a chance. Go check it out. But yeah, Brian, Dave and I will make sure. Dave is your boy. Matching tattoos. Now I need to know what the tattoo is. I have to know what the tattoo is of what your matching tattoo is. I tuned in to the last few minutes of it after I got home. That was a good show. It was a good show. CK, we need to get you. You were there, Jaybird. CK, we need to get you on Victor Tango, Bob on Victor Tango, Brett on Victor Tango, because we have a slew of veterans that served our country and have served to protect others. And I'd love to have their stories out there. Oh, and CK, I looked at your book this morning. Before I forget, because I was going to email you, I wasn't able to fix the issue. I'm really sorry, but I hope your friend's able to. If not, let me know. I have people we can talk to. So I wanted to have some fun with everybody. Like last night, I got home. Bob's just looking at his porn. I love it. So
it has to be meat and porn.
It has to.
So Brett's coming to Denver Monday, I guess, or Tuesday, whatever. Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, so I'll be here, Brett.
I think that is hilarious. Let me know, Brett. So wait, I got home yesterday and I was telling Bob and Ilse about this, and all of a sudden, the house I'm house sitting, I'm pet sitting, the dogs are sleeping in their crate right now, they're in heaven, and I get home and there's this huge box. And I was telling Bob and them about it. And they're like, well, what is it? I'm like, I take pictures, send it to the girl that owns the house. She's like, that dumb bitch. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great story. I'm like, who is this? She goes, I don't know. She moved out of the house 5 years ago and her sugar daddy still send her things. So apparently the girl who no longer lives here had her birthday present sent from one of her sugar daddies. I got to open it because she hasn't lived here in a while. This is flowers from Hawaii that were shipped in one day. One day. And you can't, that's the best picture I could get right there. But I have them sitting here to give myself encouragement. Check a look at these out. So I want to thank you for having a birthday, stranger, and letting me take credit for these beautiful flowers being decorated all around this house that I don't live in. It is absolutely fun and makes my day. So thank you, beautiful stranger. Check this one out. You ready?
That is stunning.
See this?
Those are Pieterse. They are Pieterse from South
I don't have enough room. This one's so big. That's what she said. Bob's face made that joke so worth it. This is the one that is the bird of paradise. You can see how big it is. I'm trying to get it at a good angle for everybody. But like, you see how huge these things are. I have 3 vases full of these flowers. Like, beautiful, beautiful. So happy birthday, and thank you for letting me look like I'm the coolest guy ever and getting somebody's house flowers.
Okay, so here's the thing. What are you gonna do if that sugar daddy rocks up there to come and collect payment for those flowers?
I have been.
Of that. What are you gonna say? Are you the new boyfriend?
But no. That's the thing. The girl that he's sending it to doesn't even live here.
Exactly, but he doesn't know that. Remember, so
that's not my fault. That is not my fault that he does not know that she doesn't live here. She hasn't lived here years. So what happens when she walks up to, if they walk up to the door and some sugar daddy goes, where's my flowers, my Hawaiian flowers? I'm going to go, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. I just don't have any flowers in my house, and just completely play dumb. And if somebody comes knocking up on my door and they got the wrong address, I'll give them these back. But I'm letting them know, like, your girl's an idiot. It's not worth spending that much money on flowers if she still doesn't know her address after 5-6 years, whatever it's been.
If she hasn't told you where she lives, Guy, it's not going to work out. Move on.
Right? Oh, Brian, that is a baller tattoo. The ichthus fish, the one that's the fish crossing from Proverbs 27:17 on his forearm. As iron sharpens iron, so does man sharpen man. 100%. I feel if I stay quiet, Bob will jump on and give us a quick sermon too. You were in the right place at the right time. What an uplifting gift that was sent, especially for you. Not a coincidence at all. Bob Seymour.
Exactly the same.
Bob Seymour, I'll call you. It's nice to know he'll call you. I've texted and called Brett every day since Wednesday, and I got, I'm not sleeping. I'm just walking around South Dakota. Why did you turn into a Southern woman for the sugar daddy? You putting out the vibe, Brian? Don't judge me and my sugar daddiness. I'm not gonna go for him. But if he might like a Southern, I'm just a Southern belle. Like he might like that, and we'll just have some good old fashioned fun. Bring him in. I'll give him some sweet tea. Make sure he's happy. Make sure we cook him some grits on the grill. I got some collard greens in the back. Don't worry, we got this. Like, he's going to enjoy his time. I'm going to take care of the sugar daddy, and then hopefully he'll be my sugar daddy. You know what I mean? Because then I'll just send Ilse over to take care of the inappropriate things that I don't want to do.
So do you want to know what they call a sugar daddy in South Africa?
Yes.
What? Let him know your bird of paradise.
Let him know that your bird of prey is bigger than the one he sent his girl. And then Brian says, you're going to give him your hush puppy. Oh, my God. All right, I'm sorry, Elsa, go.
They call a sugar daddy a blesser because he blesses the girl with money and then she blesses him with something else. But they call it a blesser.
We call those pimps here.
Same
Do
thing.
they have sugar mamas, man?
Same
I'm just
job
asking for a
description,
friend.
different title.
So that's a good question, Bob. What would it be if you have a woman who's older than you and has money? She's not your sugar mama. She'd be your sugar cougar. Sugar cougar.
Your mouth.
I just
Your
asked
milk.
for a friend, you know.
Bob, I mean, I understand. Long John Silver, hush puppies. Yes. Oh, that's funny. So, Bob, we have a few minutes left before we get into our guests, and I make Ilse, she's a cougar. No, she's a cougar if she's older, but if she's rich, she's a sugar cougar. Sugar cougar.
A cougar with sugar.
Right? Like it's a sugar cougar. It's an older. It's if she's older than her significant other and has money and puts money. It's not a sugar mama. She's older than you. You would be a sugar mama, Sarah. You take care of the guy when he's older and they're younger. You're a sugar mama compared to being a sugar cougar, sugar coated cougar. Here we go. Now we're talking. See, but that might be what she wants, I don't know. And then this random, sugar daddy shows up. I gotta worry. She's only a cougar if she's older with a younger dude, a kept man. Correct? That's it. So she could be a sugar cougar by being older and having money. Okay, so she has to support the guy. It's like a guy supporting a girl. That's when she's a sugar cougar. But if she's a sugar mama, it's when she's taking care of a guy who's older than her, but she's younger. She's being his mom.
So my son came home one day. And said, "Mom, the boys at school are calling you a MILF. What does that mean? What is that?" So I told him it's a fact.
You made tea come out my nose. Oh, I was trying to get a Kleenex, a paper towel. I didn't expect that. Mom, everybody at school is saying you're a MILF. What does that mean? Oh my God.
It's a fact.
Bob, what if you come home and one of your daughters goes, Dad, I gotta tell you, the girls at school think you're a DILF. What the hell do you think? I don't know what you would think if somebody said that.
Thankfully, I don't have any daughters, man.
That's true. Yeah. But Ilse,
I have
what did you
adopted ones, but I adopted them late in life, so I didn't have to go through the potty training and all that crap. They came with grandkids and everything. It was cool.
Ilse, what did you tell your son when he tells you that his friends are calling you a MILF? I hope you taught him.
I told him it's a fact.
No sense lying to the boy, right?
I mean, he's gonna realize sooner or later.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'd call her lucky.
Was this before or after you set the girls free?
Oh!
What does Bob say?
Bob asked, was that before or after you went freeing?
That was before. We'll have to see what they say after.
Now they're like, you're a gilf.
What's a gilf?
I don't want to answer because it was a bad, mean joke.
Okay, send me a DM. Send me a DM because I want to know.
What is a MILF? A mom I'd like to. What would a gilf be?
No, man, I like food. You've got a filthy mind. No, I'm joking. Man, a mom I'd like to.
Mom, I like food.
It's like
What?
a mom I'd like to follow home.
There we go. I like that. Mom, I follow home. That still doesn't sound right at all. I'm just being honest. Like,
No, there's a redemptive purpose in everything, man.
oh my God. Like, this show's already off the rails very quickly. But then again, I know how I run a show.
It's
Fun, man.
Oh, no, we changed it. What is the new name of Fridays? We usually are doing Faithful
Fuck It
Fridays. And because we're doing Fuck It Fridays, we're going to start this in October. It's for Bob. It's Fuck It All Fridays. Because whatever you want to say fuck it to, you get to write it in the comments today. Tell us what you want to let go of. You're not going to do it all weekend. You're going to let it go. So let's say, I don't want technology. I don't need to be a 12-year-old and on Facebook, according to Brian. I agree with you. I hate Facebook. But like, what the hell do you want to let go of? What are you saying fuck it to and letting go of? Grandma wants some gilf.
No, man, I have
Thanks, Jamin. He knows how to explain so I can get it.
No, I've chosen the mountain.
Maybe
I'm
just
going
for the
to draw the
South
line,
Africans.
man, and I'm done with it all. I'm just done with all this government mandate bullshit. This whole thing, I'm done with it, man. Screw them all. I'm not playing their game no more. If somebody don't want me to come in their business without a mask on, well, the hell with them. I ain't giving them my money. I'm done with it. I'm just done with it. This is all political, psychological warfare crap being played. In the hell with them. I'm done with it.
So you're going to go with what you're saying fuck it to is you're saying fuck it this weekend. I'm getting rid of my mask and I'm not going to put it back on? Or you're just saying you're done with the United States government?
Pretty much. Yeah. Like, I've worn it. I mean, I have no problem wearing a mask going to, I used to, when I was doing the pastoring thing, I wore a mask all the time in the hospital. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is some bureaucratic weasel telling me I have to. My First Amendment rights trump that little weasel, and I ain't playing the game no more. And I hope a lot of business people stand up and start saying, no, ain't doing it. You know, we've got to collectively shut these weasels down. I mean, Jefferson said, you know, when the government or when the people fear the government, it's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, it's liberty. And we're losing liberty fast. We got to stand against this stuff collectively. They can't throw us all in jail. You know, and if they do throw me in jail, the hell with it, I'll start a prison ministry. I don't care.
The positive sides of Bob. He said, Brett says a boba because it's Fuck It Friday. Oh, great. The guest just showed up. Christine just showed up, and the first thing she hears is Fuck It Friday. This is a great, like, you're going to beep for us? I appreciate that.
Let's just go like this, and I'll beep where you're supposed to swear.
Okay, so because it's
beep
Friday, my kids this weekend, Brian says they're going to my mom's house for the weekend so I can actually have a life. I love it, Brian. Have a life, have some fun, get out there. Get out, have a great time, and I will see you on Sunday when we talk smack about the Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns. Ilse, are you ready for our guest and have a bio ready while I close out with Bob?
I do.
Awesome. Bob, give everybody a word of encouragement before I move you to the back and bring on our world-renowned, famous Christine Reed after Ilse reads her bio.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody have a great weekend and know that you're influential, man. We are all leaders. Just a matter of where we're going to lead people, which direction. Lead them toward positivity. Lead them toward peacefulness. Lead them toward togetherness, man. I mean, love somebody this weekend. Smile at somebody. Do something anybody can do, man. It's easy. We'll change this world one person at a time. So just go out there and love somebody and be positive this weekend. Have a great one, man. I'll see you at the end of the show.
I know. I love it, Bob. All right. Read it to me, babe. I'm ready for you. This is our South African princess reading to us from our now going to be hiking queen. I love it. Here we go.
Reading in English with an accent. Hang on. We are interviewing our special guest, Christine Reed. Christine discovered long distance backpacking while surfing the internet at work. She decided that day to attempt to thru-hike the Appalachian Trail. One adventure led to another, and a few years later, she set out on the Wonderland Trail in Mt Rainier National Park.
I have you reading it because I already mispronounced it when I was trying.
Okay. But we blame it that English is my second language. A rugged outdoors woman persona started as a joke, a nod to the outdoor adventure that she wished to be. But in the years since, she has come into her own as a backpacker, rock climber, and trail runner. This book is a testament to the decision to name who you want to be and make it so.
Guys, we'll be right. I know. I read her bio. I kind of stalked her Instagram a little already. It was just creepy enough that it was nice. I did her website that I went through that and looked through that. Like, honestly, guys, this is none you don't want to miss. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors, and I'm sorry that you have to see my face again.
Hi, my name is Brandon, and over the past year, the Delight Cafe team and I traveled across the U.S. researching this rapidly growing industry of CBD products. What we have found throughout the industry were products that were inconsistent in dosage and used ingredients that weren't even lab tested. Products with chalky textures, bitter aftertaste, and worst of all, confusion among the CBD consumers. That's why we created Delight Cafe. A 15 milligram, lab tested, all natural, water soluble hemp CBD powder pack. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. Add it to your favorite drink of choice, wherever, whenever, on the go. Quickly find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us. Miss Christine Reed, it is an honor to meet you and have you here today. So, first question out the bat. You ready? Why? Yeah, okay, now she's not ready. Hold on. Okay, now. So, what happened that made you just go, all right, I'm getting out and hiking. I'm going to go start doing stuff. I got to be outdoors. Because did you have burnout, or was this something that always has been a part of your life and you just were like, I need to make this everything?
Do you get to claim to have burnout if you just graduated from college like 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, I'm going to let you have that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I really, I had not hiked much before. I was not a super active child. And so I actually had just graduated from college and gotten a job in the health insurance industry. Very fun. And I just felt like I didn't know what I was doing with my life. And I had gone to college and gotten the degree that my parents wanted me to get, and done all the things on the checklist of becoming an adult. And then I realized I didn't know, what is the next thing on the list after that? Nobody had told me what to do after getting the job and graduating from college and, trying to buy a house and do those things.
Where did you go to college, if you don't mind me asking, and what was your degree in?
Yeah, I went to the University of Arkansas in Little Rock, and I got a business management degree. Is that a close to home place for you?
No, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, and
Okay.
Ilse's in South Africa, so it makes it fun. Am I supposed to censor you there? You raised your finger like I did. Am I supposed to censor you, Elsa?
No. I'm trying to do that, not swear.
All right. I just asked because the burnout from college, I was curious what the degree would be. And honestly, with college today, it is a whole nother realm. When you're graduating college today, you're walking into a world of uncertainty. People say there's jobs, but it's not the jobs you think. And it hasn't been there for a while. And going out and finding yourself, I love how you write about being in the outdoors. You cross over things, and it's a sense of accomplishment when you get on a hike, when you get from one end to the other. What got you into the rock climbing and all these other things? Because you're doing all these cool things, and I'm sitting here going, I'm already head over heels for this girl and excited she's on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those one thing leads to another. Hiking is really accessible for most people, and it doesn't take a lot of gear and it doesn't take a lot of money, and you kind of just have to get out there and hit the trail. And once you do that and you see how amazing it is to be outside and how good it feels to move your body and like all of the good things that come with the endorphins and stuff of like doing something as simple as like taking a walk outside, then it's just like, oh, what's the next thing I can do? What's the next thing? And once you get into the outdoor community, you're always going to meet someone who's like, oh, you know, I'm out here hiking. We met each other on the trail, but this person also does this other thing. And like, now we're talking about that. And so now, you know, I ended up moving to Colorado because I was excited about spending time outdoors. And I don't think you can live in Colorado without like accidentally finding yourself rock climbing. It just happens.
It's like magically on a rock.
Yeah. Just like, how did I get here?
What are the places that you've been to, and one of the places that is on your bucket list that you really want to climb a mountain that you really still want to go hike on?
I actually just finished hiking the Colorado Trail. So that's a 500-mile trail that goes from Durango to Denver in Colorado.
Wow.
And so I have, you know, I finished 2 weeks ago, so I haven't quite like considered what my next to do is, but there are a lot of other kind of shorter, long trails that I'm interested in getting on. I'm not sure I'm ready to commit to like another big 6-month trek just because of other things in my life I want to do, and taking 6 months off is a huge commitment.
I don't know if this is going to be a stupid question, but how long is your hikes? Is it usually for like 6 months that you hike this whole trail and you live out of a little backpack?
It depends. Yeah. So the Wonderland Trail, which I wrote the book about, was 93 miles, and that took 11 days. So that's not like a crazy 6-month adventure, but the Colorado Trail is almost 500 miles, and that I was on trail for 41 days.
41 days. Like, are you by yourself during that time, or are you with somebody?
So the Wonderland Trail I did alone. The Colorado Trail I did not do alone. I had a partner. I actually had 2 partners. One of them got injured and had to get off the trail, so somebody else came out and joined me for the second half.
That's on your Instagram. I saw that on your Instagram. I was reading through. I was like, oh, like does she do this by herself? I was trying to have my questions ready and all that. Is that the furthest you've done? Is the 500 miles? Or is that no? She's already nodding no. Oh my God.
No. So my first thru-hike attempt on the Appalachian Trail, I hiked 650 miles. The AT is over 2,000 miles, so I didn't even do like a third of it, but it was a little longer than this past one.
Wow. Sorry, do you wanna okay, sorry. Is it not dangerous hiking all by yourself? I mean, what do you do in when you hike by yourself? What do you do when there's an emergency?
So there's a couple different things. On the Colorado Trail, we carried a spot GPS. So they make GPSs specifically for the backcountry, and they have like an emergency button on them you can push if you break your leg or, you know, something crazy happens. And so we did carry that on the Colorado Trail. And actually, I've never carried something like that by myself before. Just because they're kind of expensive. And it's just one of those things that I haven't been feeling like I needed to put the money down for. A lot of the trails that I hike are really populated. So the Appalachian Trail is incredibly popular. There's thousands of people out there. So you're kind of just betting if you break your leg that there will be someone around. And a lot of times, you know, there would be, like, I never hiked a day on the AT and didn't see at least 10 people. So if something happened, there would be people there, and either someone would have a GPS or someone would be able to go, you know, make a phone call, try to get help. On the Appalachian Trail, you're never too far from civilization. The Colorado Trail is a little bit more remote. And actually my friend carries the GPS, and that's why we had it. And her mom was watching where we were every day, because it like tracks your location. And then when we did have cell service, her mom called and said, oh my gosh, you guys are so far away from the closest road. Like, this is really, like, you're out there. There are places on the Colorado Trail that are much more remote than what you would see on the AT. And then, like, the Wonderland Trail, which I wrote about in the book, is in Mt Rainier National Park. So the whole time you're in a national park, and you have all of your campsites reserved. So if something happened to you, the Park Service knows exactly where you were supposed to be.
So I'm asking, and like Ilse said, if this is a dumb question, please make fun of Brian Tracy. He's not even here to defend himself. So he's one of my he's a moderator for us. But going out on this, you have to plan this whole trip out ahead of time, correct? So you're going to be gone for about like 40 some days. You have like a guesstimate. Isn't that intimidating a little bit, or do you enjoy that time alone? I'm asking because I love the outdoors, but that's something where that's a long time. And it's almost like Moses. Like you're like Moses, 40 days in the wilderness. Like I just realized that. Like, but you're out there, you're doing things. Are you catching food? Do you hunt? Do you pack? Like I have so many questions. Do you have a tent? Do you sleep in a hammock? Is it warm? Is it cold? Sorry, I'll just stop right there. Answer those.
Yeah, all the things. I do not hunt. If there are berries that I'm pretty sure aren't going to kill me, I might eat them. But I'm not foraging. So yeah, everything is packed ahead of time. I have pretty strict dietary restrictions, so I do pack all of my food ahead of time, and then have it shipped along the trail. So the Colorado Trail has like eight or 10 trail towns that are accessible from the trail. And by accessible, I mean you hitchhike from where the road, like the trail will cross a road, and you can put your thumb out and wait for a car to pick you up and drive you 8 to 20 miles into town, depending where. But people who live in those areas know that the trail is there, and they know there are hitchhikers. And so they see you out there and they're like, oh, hikers. And they pick you up and take you into town. So the communities are used to seeing, dirty vagabonds with their backpacks trying to get into town. And then I had my wonderful fiance supporting on this trip, and he shipped my boxes. So I would call and say, hey, send the box to such and such place. And then 8 days later, I would get there and pick it up.
That was all awesome the food. That you can do all those things. I didn't even know that you can do that. Doing a 41-day hiking trail must be mentally exhausting. So how do you, in those situations, mentally prepare yourself to wake up the next morning and then just go further?
There's something really lovely about the simplicity of trail life. You wake up, you walk, you eat, you walk, you eat, you walk, and then you go to sleep. And just the shedding away of all of the normal day-to-day to-do lists and the technology and the interactions with people in the world and driving and traffic and all of the things that make our lives so loud and crazy. You don't have any of those things on the trail. And so it can be mentally exhausting because what you're doing is physically hard. But without all that other stuff, you can kind of focus on the aspect of it being physically hard and find joy in that. And like my knees hurt and my feet hurt and I'm not sleeping well and I wake up every hour and it's sometimes cold at night and there's animals around and like sometimes you hear a noise and you get spooked and like all of that is definitely a mental exercise. But it's what we go out there for. It's the experience that you're looking for of just like being in nature and everything that entails.
When you're hitchhiking, hold on. I'm going to make a first question, yes or no. Does your fiance get to go with you now and then, or is he not a hiker?
He did not go on this trip. He has like a job. And
you say that with such disdain too. Like, he's still doing the 9 to 5. Like, God. He hasn't moved up to Moses status yet and done 40 days in the wilderness. But you're hitchhiking and you are out there. I'm assuming no cell phone signal. That's why you have the emergency thing. But hitchhiking, and this is me thinking as a female, and they know that isn't there still a little bit of fear of getting into a stranger's car hitchhiking? Like I would be scared. Like, and I'm a dude that is bald and looks like he's in a gang. Like, I'm not going to be someone they want to pick up. But, like, it's one of those things where I love making people laugh and catching them off guard with my comments. It's so fun. It's one of these things where I'm like, this is such a cool adventure. But, like, I would think that the hitchhiking would be, or the animals. What's the craziest animal you've had an encounter with?
I had a very close encounter with a couple of bears on the Wonderland Trail, and it was probably one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me outside. But if you know, I mean, do you know anything about bears? Should I like give you a little bear info?
Tell us.
There's black bears, brown bears, and polar bears. And other than that, I would not know.
And panda bears, right?
Yeah, the most non-racist thing out there. So do the bears, and then my question, because I'll mute, so Ilse has the next one. What is Wonderland Tour? Like, I've never heard of this like hiking thing, and I'd love to know a little more about it and what made you decide to do that to write the book. And then I'm going to shut my face.
Sure. So the Wonderland Trail is a circular trail that goes around Mt Rainier in Washington. It's just a loop that's 93 miles, and you would think like, oh, a loop that goes around a mountain, like that's probably not super challenging, right? Because it's probably pretty flat, but it's not. It's 22,000 feet of gain over the course of 100 miles. So you're hiking up and down, like, you know, super hilly, mountainous, kind of the foothills of Mount Rainier. It's just like the sides of the mountain. But it's within the national park. And so there's established campsites, and they have bear hangs for your food bag to go on so that it can be out of reach of bears. And I had previously lived in Yosemite National Park for a period, and I also on the AT hiked through the Smokies. And those are both places where black bears are extremely problematic because they are so used to being fed and getting into human food. And so I know about the danger of black bears, even though black bears are not naturally aggressive, they become aggressive when they have had food. And so when I got to Mount Rainier, I asked the rangers before I started hiking, like, what's the deal with black bears around here? You know, like, how worried should I be about them? And the ranger said, we have never had a violent bear incident in the history of the park, to which I was shocked. I thought, that's really impressive. So cool. And I also thought, like, cool, then I'm not worried about the bears here, right? And so I thought, no problem. And the ranger said there is one campsite where the bears have been kind of a nuisance, and they are like trying to get into people's stuff. And so they told me what campsite to watch out for. And I said, okay. And then I went on my hike. And that campsite I was staying at on the 8th day, I think. And when I got there, I immediately put my backpack away. I like put my food bag up, and I was like, cool. Like, I know the bears are here, and I'm just going to keep an eye out and do all the responsible bear things you're supposed to do when you're hiking to keep them away from you. And I that evening got in my tent at probably around 5 or 6 p.m. It was still light out, and I was sitting in my tent reading a book, but I had the rain fly off so I could see out of the mesh. And I don't know if you've ever seen or been in a backpacking tent, but they're like pretty short, because like you can only sit up in them. So they're like maybe 3 feet tall, and they're shaped like a human body because it's meant to be light and small and packable. And so it's just as big as it needs to be for you to be able to sleep in it. And so I'm like sitting in this tiny tent with my book reading, and all of a sudden I hear like something run across my campsite. I look up, and it's a marmot. Have either of you seen a marmot?
Mm-mm.
This is fun. A marmot is an extremely large rodent. They're like maybe 8 to 12 pounds. They're brown, they're furry, they're extremely cute, and they frolic in the alpine areas. So anywhere above tree line, you will see marmots running around in the US. And so one of those runs by, and I thought, I've never seen a marmot run that fast. Usually they're kind of like meandering along, just doing their thing. And I looked at it for a minute. It had, disappeared. And then I went back to my book. I just thought like, wow, that was weird. And then a few seconds later, two bears came running after it. And I thought, oh my God, they're chasing, like, that's why the marmot was running so fast. And I looked up right as they came out of the bushes next to me. And then they turned on a dime when they saw my tent there, right? Because they were running after the marmot, and then they see me and they're like, oh, this is interesting. And so they turned and sort of flanked me. I had one on each side, close enough that I could reach out and touch them if I wasn't in a tent, right? I mean, they were really close. Ooh. And one of them had his face to me and was like flaring his nostrils, like smelling me. And I thought, oh my God, that bear is like sniffing me. And I had spilled almond butter on my pants, I don't know, 5 days before that. And I was like, can it smell that? Is it still on there? But there was nothing I could do because I'm in this tiny tent, and I was like, I can't stand up. I was afraid to make a noise because if I was like, if I try to scare them away, I might scare them into attacking me.
Yes.
So I just sat there and was like, please leave, please go away now. And they, they probably looked at me for 10 seconds, the longest 10 seconds of my life. and then they turned and they followed, after where the marmot was. And it was really scary, but they weren't that interested in me.
I wanted to ask you, can I go hiking with you? Because I like hiking. Can I come hiking with you when I get to America? And I just decided I'm okay. I'll read the book.
Never mind.
You can tell me all about it in your book. Because I'm not, I would not be able to sit that quietly if a bear runs up to me. I'll die.
I think that was like the instinctual reaction was just like, do nothing, just do nothing.
Whoa, that can be. And with the rock climbing, have you ever had an issue where it was unsafe to climb, or you were in danger with the climbing rocks? Because I've seen some movies that's not easy climbing those rocks.
No, I keep my rock climbing on a pretty low key safety level. That's definitely something I do more for fun and to challenge myself, but I'm not like scaling giant mountains, or they're not going to make a movie about me rock climbing.
You're not like scaling Mount Rushmore, all of a sudden hanging out Abe Lincoln's nose, one-armed. Okay, just checking.
No.
Just chasing Christine, the follow-up to the Wonderland book.
Yeah, yes. Have you ever done the Finger Lakes tour?
I have not.
So I highly recommend it even if you do it it's in New York. It's, how do I describe this? It's probably one of the most beautiful places in the world in the fall. And what I mean by that is like everything, the trees, the colors, it just opens up in a way that is so amazing and so special. So when I saw Bob's comment, I had to make sure I brought that back, because if you haven't done it, being in Ohio, it's easy for me to get there. You're in Colorado. That would take you a while to walk there. So take your time. Bob says he hitchhiked across the country in the 70s, across the country several times in the 70s. That wasn't hitchhiking, Bob. That was called prostitution. So Bob was on. He's in the back laughing. That's why I know what jokes I could get away with him. It is a couple of 100 miles along, and they have moose walk by their tent in the Rocky Mountains. Have you ever seen a moose or anything like that?
Yeah, so we actually saw some moose on the Colorado Trail. We stayed. It was funny. So my friend who I was hiking with is obsessed with wildlife. She loves animals. Anything that you can see, she's like, oh my God. So we a few times had been told, hey, we just saw some moose at that lake that you're about to be at in 4 miles. Like, hurry up and get there because there's moose there. Or make sure you camp there because there's definitely moose there. And so we kept going places thinking like we'd been promised moose. And she was very upset because we didn't see any for like a few of those. And there was especially like one day we stayed somewhere and the weather was really bad and it was crappy. And we were like, we hate it here. And also there was supposed to be a moose. So, but eventually we did find some moose. We camped at like sort of a pond that had been dammed up. There was all these beaver dams everywhere. And the moose were hanging out in this marshy area next to it. And it was a mom and a baby. And we camped just across the lake from them. And so when we went to sleep, we could see them over there just eating, because that's what moose do all day. And they, they're just over there chewing. And then in the morning we wake up and they like haven't moved. They're just literally chewing exactly in the same spot. Like they stayed there all night. So we got to wake up and see them again, which was great. But moose are really scary, so we stayed pretty far away.
Oh, they're really scary. Why are they scary? Oh, because they're so big. So they're not dangerous. They don't chase you or anything.
No, they are. They will.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay,
they're very aggressive.
This is not working for getting me to go hiking with you, just by the way. Any snakes or things that I have to worry about?
Yeah, moose are super aggressive, and they're also like their brains are really small, so they're like they will just kind of attack anything they see that is too close to them. So they're not very smart, supposedly, and they are super aggressive. So it's one of those animals that you just want to like stay far away from. But they're really beautiful, and you know.
I can imagine. I've never seen one in we don't have moose in South Africa. But I've seen giraffes and stuff next to the road. But I haven't seen a moose yet. But when I get to America, we'll go look for the moose. Is it moose? Is it one moose? Two moose?
Yes.
Is it not like geese or goose? I'm just trying to see. Well, don't make a mistake.
Many moose.
Many moose. Have you ever had an encounter with like a snake or something like that?
On the Appalachian Trail, there are snakes. I did see a couple snakes on the Colorado Trail, but I've not had an encounter with snakes. I definitely had, like, there's a snake over there and I'm afraid to walk by it. So I just stood there until it left. That's happened. But yeah, I don't mess with snakes. They're like, no. Stay away from snakes.
No, snakes and tarantulas. You get me a spider like this, I'll help it. I'll get it back outside. You get a tarantula, I'm the one leaving the house. Burn the house down.
Yeah.
Christine, so you wrote a book. It's Alone in Wonderland. The dyslexia in me wants to say Alice because of how well you did that. Alone in Wonderland. So, excuse me as I hiccup there twice. My tea does not want to work with me today. I want to share your website for everybody to see because you wrote this book about being outside, being a story about backpacking. You're young and you're doing these really cool things and seeing things all over the world. What makes this be a book that makes everybody want to read this? Why should everybody go and buy this book and want to read it?
It is a story about backpacking, but it is also a story about, and then it has, you see the list there, independence, love, grief, freedom, adventure, family. Like, it's a story about a lot of things. It's a personal story. But I think a lot of us are kind of going through and experiencing the same human things in the world, and in hearing other people's stories about the hard things that they're going through can make us feel less alone in the world. And so when I said Alone in Wonderland, it's a little bit about what it is to backpack solo and what it is to travel solo and be a woman alone in the world. But it's also about feelings of loneliness and feeling alone in the world. And I think that's something that we all experience, and we all kind of have these, like, why don't I have more friends? Why don't I have a relationship that's meaningful to me? Why don't I have the relationship I want to have with my parents? And, you know, we go through these different sort of cycles of types of aloneness, and I really explore a lot of those things in the book. And one of the beautiful things about sharing my story that in that way is that I've had a lot of readers reach out to me and say, like, I didn't know anyone else felt this way. Like, what you said is exactly how I feel. And that's part of what I wanted to accomplish with the book, was just letting people know that they're not alone in their aloneness. And selfishly, I've kind of gotten the same thing, right? I've had people reach out to me and say, I feel the exact same way. And like, that has been a really lovely thing for me as well, because I wrote it hoping I'm sharing myself in this way, and I hope that other people relate, because I want other people to feel like we are all in this together, you know, because it's super corny.
We all
you know, but I also wanted to feel that way, and I've really gotten that response from readers, which has been wonderful. Did I answer your question? I'm like rambling now. Great.
You're allowed to ramble. This is your time. Honestly, it's one of these things where you're not rambling. You're giving the facts of what it is. And on your website, you even say, like, the book is about, because Alone in Wonderland, independence, love, grief, freedom, adventure, family. And then you hit things like safety, trauma, letting go and letting in, self-knowledge and self-acceptance. I think this is a book that people should be reading, because there's so many people that are lost in this world. And instead of reading like a book called The Subtle Art of Giving Up, She didn't beep. Thank you, Christine.
No, was I supposed to? Sorry.
She must not know that book.
She doesn't. She must not. That's true. So, but like, people are so into finding these other ways of doing it, and having a book about connecting with our nature, who we are. That's a huge thing. When you were in college, did you just start hiking as a way to let go of everything, or did you? No. Oh God, the face changed. So my next question is going to just be about your fiance, because I keep getting these big looks every time.
No, I started hiking because people were like, "Hey, let's go hiking," and I was like, "Oh, I guess that's a thing people do." And and people take me on these hikes, and I would just be like sweating and like hot, and my heart is racing and I'm breathing hard. And like, I mean, a big part of what I talk about in the book is like, I'm not very good at hiking, and my body does not like it. It's hard. It's a struggle. And I started doing it because other people were doing it, and I hated it. And then my decision to hike the AT was a little bit about like, self-loathing and also like determination. Like I felt like, here's a thing I'm really bad at, and I want to be the type of person who can do hard things and choose to like go through the suffering, because supposedly there is some kind of knowledge on the other side of this, right? People talk about these long distance hikes like they're life-changing experiences. They change how you see the world. They change how you see yourself. And like, I wanted those things. And even though I sucked at hiking and didn't enjoy it, I thought, well, if this is the key, like I must have it. So I decided to start doing those things. And turns out if you do something you hate and do it enough, then it becomes something you love.
I like that. Will you ever, or is it on your bucket list to maybe do something like Kilimanjaro or one of those hectic climbs?
Maybe. I mean, Kilimanjaro is supposed to be really amazing. And it's like at an elevation that is not out of reach to me, I think, because I've hiked 14ers in Colorado, and it's not that much taller than that. It's like a level you can still breathe oxygen at. But I don't know that the appeal of like something's quite so commercialized is there for me. I know the 7 summits are a big deal, and people who are trying to get the 7 summits, like that's a thing. But I don't want to stand in line to summit a mountain. And, Everest is that way now. Kilimanjaro is definitely that way. There's so many tours going on. I think there's just a lot of other really beautiful places I'd like to go that are not as crowded. I'm definitely not about I don't know if you guys know, in the outdoor industry, there's a big gatekeeping thing going on where people who are, quote, more outdoorsy or more rugged or more, they're like mountaineers and doing these things. They don't want everybody else on their mountains. And it's especially a thing that's going on in Colorado right now, because everyone is running around outdoors right now. And so there's kind of just this mindset of like, we were here first, and like, why are you coming here? There's too many tourists, and there's too many people who don't know what they're doing. And it's, it's just like this idea that some people can be outside and others don't deserve to be, or something. And so I hesitate, when I say I don't want to go somewhere so crowded. I definitely don't mean it in that way. There are lots of places where there aren't so many people as Kilimanjaro.
With mountain climbing, it's also, like you said, I think Christine said it phenomenally. It's become a tourist attraction almost. You could climb Mount St. Helen with a tour, and when you get there, you have to wait in line for 2 hours to take a picture at the top. And that's not good for the mountain, but good. It's also not. It's not safe for people who aren't expert climbers, because that's the point of doing those. And even if you can get up there with a tour guide, it's still, like, Christine takes safety precautions. She looks into things beforehand and all that. It's a big difference than just going and climbing just naturally. Like, I can't go walk 500 miles with Christine tomorrow. I'd try, but she'd kill me probably about 40 miles in, just being honest. But Christine, you've done all these, you've been seeing things and doing things. do you have a hike that is your dream hike? Like you want to do it one day. It's on your bucket list. You get where I'm going.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like, I guess no. There are some that I'd really like to do, like the John Muir Trail, but that one is very heavily permitted and it's hard to get onto because they're trying to keep it from being too crowded.
Okay.
And then there's like the Arizona Trail, which is not very crowded at all because it's in the desert and people don't like that. It's hard and there's no water and like all the things that desert have. But honestly, like when I find out about hikes that I'm really interested in, I usually try to put them on the calendar and get them done. So I don't have like a big dream sheet of things that are kind of in the distance, you know.
In your book, you've got safety tips as well. My plan next year is I'm gonna come to America and I want a road trip everywhere. I want to see as much as I can, and I'll do it by myself. So what tips do you have for somebody that wants to do solo traveling and that's not familiar with the area?
Are you going to be like car camping or staying in hotels? What's your...
It would probably be camping, the cheapest way. Yeah.
So I have a backup hammock and a blanket. She'll be fine.
I just need 2 trees.
I mean, honestly, like carrying a GPS is a great option, but I think like as a woman, we are kind of programmed with those safety precautions of just like being hyper aware, watching people around us, like trying to understand people's intentions and not getting too deep into a conversation with someone you don't know in like a remote place. And, you know, there's just things. And that's one of the things I talk about in the book is just this programming that we have as women that like, we're always on alert. We're always paying attention. And when we see a man walking by himself and we're by ourselves and we look around and there's nobody else around, like there's a certain way that you present yourself as you walk by and do or don't make eye contact, do or don't talk to this person, depending how they make you feel. Like all of the normal things that you do in the city, I feel like you're just going to do the same things on the trail and out and about.
So I see Robert here. He says, you need to hike with me, Christine. It's all about living off the land. I don't know if you know him or he's just somebody that's watching. I was like, I wonder if he's a fan of hers. He does extreme winter camping, sub-zero. I was just about to say, Christine, would you do that? Like, that just sounds like that breaks you into another realm of uncomfortableness to make you break into another area yourself. And I don't know if I can handle that. Like, I barely can handle a cold shower. Like, I can't imagine a whole cold night. Like, but
yeah, there are definitely levels of like how hardcore and how nature, like how deep in nature you want to be. And I have mad respect for people who are living off the land, but that is not what I'm doing.
Mad respect.
And the cold weather thing. Like the Colorado Trail was so wonderful and we had such good weather the entire time. I really thought like, wow, I haven't suffered very much on this trail, because what makes me suffer is being cold. The hiking, the hard work, even being really hot, like I'm okay with those things, but being cold is just, it's hard. I know, like, and some people are really good at that. Some people really enjoy being cold or like doing those cold weather adventure things. You see these mountaineering movies where they're like up and it's windy and there's snow everywhere and ice and they're ice climbing and I'm just like, aren't you cold?
Christine, me and you are definitely going to go hike together because we're going to ask each other, are you cold? Do you want to go home?
Like, I brought my chocolate.
Can we try tomorrow again when the sun is out? I hate getting cold. I hate it as well.
Yeah.
What do you guys eat on to get the energy and everything? Because you can't carry a lot of food and everything. So what do you guys eat to give you that energy to do all these trails and?
So I actually do, like, I eat really, really boring, kind of the same exact things every day when I hike, because there's foods that I know aren't going to upset my stomach and like will make me feel good while I'm hiking. And so I eat oats every day for breakfast with almond butter and like freeze-dried fruit. And I usually try to get like a good like 500 or 600 calories in before I start hiking. And then I usually eat snacks every hour while I'm hiking, because you're burning a lot of calories in your body, like especially if you're eating sugary snacks, which you should be, because you need like more, like you need that energy, the simple carbs that are going to like go directly to energy. And so I'll eat like fruit snacks or a granola bar or sometimes like salty things like chips and stuff. But you definitely want to eat, like I eat every hour, and I set my time by it. I'm like, no matter where we are, I'm not waiting for us to get to a good view to eat a snack. I'm like eating now. And so we like eat every hour. And then on this trip, I did protein shakes for lunch. So I'd filter water, and I do like plant-based protein with greens and turmeric for inflammation and beet crystals. If you guys are like supplement people. I used to work in the natural food industry, so I'm all about like get all these like powders and potions together for this like midday protein snack. So I do that, and then more snacks, and then dinner time ramen with vegetables and extra salt, extra bouillon, like whatever you can get more salt in there.
I love how you even said she's like extra bouillon. So I'm gonna ask a fun one that's more personal. How did you meet your fiance, and when's the wedding day?
We met in the parking lot of the climbing gym in Denver. Yeah, I was living in a van at the time, and I had a friend who was also living in a van, and we were parked, like we would park there together a lot. And I had come back from a run and like come, to see what he was up to. And my fiance was hanging out with him in his van. And so I like, hey, what's up? Random dude I don't know. And they were eating salads. And my fiance,
even your face said he was eating a salad. That was my first red flag with him. I was worried.
No, I was like, oh, good, salads. So, but my fiance has braces, and he had like salad in his braces.
Did you tell him, or did you leave him?
No, he just was like, oh, hey, we're like talking. And then we were also wearing, so there's a brand of socks that's really popular for hiking called Darn Toughs, and they have a lifetime warranty. Are you familiar?
I am.
Okay. So we were both wearing the exact same women's Darn Tough socks, black toes.
That sounds like something that would happen to me. Like I'd be like, oh yeah, I got those socks on too. And I'd pull my boot off, and I'd be wearing the women's socks. Like I've done that I have bought women's pants multiple times on accident. And then I have to lose weight to fit in them. Like I can't not fit in them.
You know, struggle. We have to do the same. We buy one size, and then we have to lose weight to fit in that one.
That's why I did it. I'm like, I'm gonna lose the weight and fit in these skinny jeans.
Well, the socks fit him great. I was wearing socks and sandals. He had socks and tennis shoes on, but I could see the top of his sock, and I was like, we're wearing the same socks.
That's like a great like icebreaker too, though, isn't it? Like it's like, I know where you got your socks. I got the same ones up. By the way, you have salad in your teeth.
The new pickup line, you've got salad in your teeth.
Brandon in my mouth. Bob, you know I wear your mom jeans. Sorry, go ahead.
You said you lived in a van. Was that on purpose? Did you just decide you don't want a house and you don't want to live in a house? Because I see a lot on TikTok, and I'm a TikTok fan. All these people transforming their vans into houses, and then just driving across the USA and living in their vans.
Yep. #van life. You should rent a van when you come to the US.
I was thinking the exact same thing just now.
It's
you
great.
were not.
I was. I really was. Did you read my mind? It's delayed. You're gonna hear it now.
So I had been living in Colorado, then I moved to Arizona. I bought an old, really shitty van and ripped out the seats and put a plywood floor in and built a bed out of 2x4s and hit the road. in 2018. And that actually is what I was doing right when I started hiking the Wonderland Trail. So I was running around in my van, feeling really lonely. It's easy to get isolated when you live in a vehicle. And so I saw these people on social media living in vans, looking so glamorous, and they all seemed to have like friends. And then I got in a van and I was like, where do I find these van people friends? Like, how do I get,
I've got the van.
like,
friends.
I'm just alone, hanging out, like going hiking, doing stuff, but I just didn't really know what I was trying to accomplish with it. And so then I found the Wonderland Trail. I was in Washington and I like happened upon it, and I thought, oh, I should go hike. Maybe that'll help me figure out what I'm trying to do. And so that's when I did the Wonderland Trail. Not too long after that, I got a better van because my first van kept breaking down everywhere, especially up dirt roads where I didn't have cell phone service.
Oh, stressful. How do you keep
yeah.
yourself calm during that? Like you're alone, you're broken down, you have no cell phone service, you're a hiker, so you're like, fuck it. You throw a bag on and go. But I just picture the modern day person having that happen.
Yeah.
Without the hiking background, that's going to be the most stressful situation. They're going to be kicking the car. They're going to be yelling at it, the van. They're going to be like, what? I bought this piece of crap. How do you stay calm, or are you trying to flip the van over?
Yeah. Does all of that stuff you just said and flipping the van over like help the situation at all? Is that getting
Absolutely.
you?
No,
Yeah,
but
so.
I get that, but it doesn't mean everybody does. Sometimes flipping that van over made that right. That feels good in the moment is what they say.
Okay. So a piece of advice for people in all situations: angry tantrums don't solve problems.
Correct. I agree.
Good place to start.
But stay calm.
Yeah, because there's either a solution to the problem or there's not, and like you can either start working on it or you can start trying to flip over a vehicle. That's not productive.
Yeah, it's not at all. It helps keep situations balanced so you do end in a delight. That's our slogan here: is stay calm, to stay balanced, to find your delight in life.
Nice. Yeah, that's perfect.
Sorry, Elsa, go ahead.
No. I'm looking for a van. If anybody has a van, when I get to America, I definitely want a van travel. I also want friends. So I need a van, and then apparently you get friends and a fiance. So I need a van.
That's just like the cool. It's cool though. You picked him up like. All right. Did he ask for your number, or did you ask for his?
So we chatted for a minute, and then I went to bed. And then he told his friend, who told my friend that I was so gorgeous. And she texted me and said, Ryan said that you're so gorgeous. And I was like, duh.
Right? Like,
of course.
And I just came off the trail. Of course I'm beautiful. I'm stunning. I can't help these things.
I just love you.
So then a few days later, I needed somebody to belay me for like to climb at the gym. And I didn't, I just come back to town from being away for a while. So I didn't have like people to hang out with. And so I was like, oh, I bet that guy that thought I was so gorgeous would be willing to come belay me at the gym. And so I texted my friend who texted her friend who texted him to say, hey, do you want to go to the climbing gym with Christine? And he said,
do you want to belay Christine? She said, do you want to belay Christine? And he was like, whoa, and it got really awkward really quick.
So then we went to the climbing gym together, but I guess I initiated that.
I think that's cool. What a great first date too. So different. Yeah. That's just a thing that you guys can have. How long have you been together?
It'll be, I guess it was 2 years in June. So 2 years and 3 months.
Now, your social media following is huge. You have a pretty big social media following on Instagram. I'm pulling that up so everybody knows who to go follow.
I went and followed you.
I didn't follow her until I already liked a bunch of things beforehand, and then I hit the follow when I get on here.
So she can't miss you.
Yeah, I want her to see how much I followed. This is just, you look happy. You have a hammock. You have, by the way, love the socks.
Those are my darn toughs.
They see?
Those are actually Ryan's. I stole them.
No way! Oh, that's funny. That is funny. But like, you have seen some beautiful sights. What do you do every day to keep Christine knowing that she's on the right path in life? To make sure that, like, what would your advice be to others on that? To keep on your. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that too hard of a question? All right, Christine, how did you come across getting the name Christine?
Well, my mom and my dad.
Oh, what did you say? How do I make sure that I'm on the right path?
How do you make sure, like, for yourself, for Christine, fuck everybody else. You get an F word. Today, it's Fuck It Friday. You get to say something you want to let go of, and you're done with. So, fuck it, I'm done with this. And you're letting go of, and you're not going to pick back up. Okay? So that's why we have so many F words on Fridays. But for you, you're leading in a way that you don't even, I think, know that you're leading. Like, I want to go hiking more because of what you're doing. I want to go be outside and doing this stuff. And that's a great thing. But waking up every day and knowing that you are a leader to waking up every day and believing in yourself is different. How does Christine make sure she knows she's waking up every day and giving the best to Christine? Is that a better way of phrasing it? Or did I make it even harder?
I'm not sure.
I'm sorry. How does Christine take care of Christine? Is that better? How do you self-love other than hiking?
It's like a check-in thing, right? Like, it's like, am I following my path? And I feel like since the day that I finished the Wonderland Trail and I said, I'm going to write a book about this.
Yeah.
I feel like I have been moving in the right direction. And maybe this is a good sign. When people ask me what I do and I get to say, I hike long trails and write books about it. Like,
that's awesome.
I feel like what I'm saying is real and true, and that it like couldn't be like, there's not something I would rather be saying when someone asks me what I do, you know?
I love that. Wow.
Do you have a next trip planned and a next book? Do you already have an idea of what you're going to do?
So I'm writing a book about the Colorado Trail right now. So I just finished hiking last Sunday. And I'm doing like a close myself up in a cabin in the mountains for 3 weeks writing retreat starting next week. So
wow.
Yeah. So look for photos of me cozy in an armchair writing a book.
We will like all your posts. We will like them.
I was like, I've already followed you and stalked you on IG. So don't worry. Tell what's your fiance's name?
Ryan.
Tell Ryan he has nothing to worry about. It sounds like you go on a good hike. All of a sudden, Robert might want to like start taking you out and teaching you like hiking too. You, Ryan, and Robert out on the trails. So, Christine, the way we end every show is we actually speak positivities. Bob doesn't even know I brought him back in yet. This is the best part. We speak positivities to everybody and give them a word of motivation. It could be something as simple as a quote. It could be something that's on your heart. It could be get out and hike today, whatever you feel. But I'm going to show you how it's done. I will go first. Ilse goes second. Then Bob, and we just drop down this line. And then you are going to close the show out for us and wish everybody a great day. Sound good?
Okay.
Don't worry. You're going to rock it. All right? Here we go. So, guys, thank you for joining us today. What an amazing episode. Christine comes in with this energy of pure just humanness. I don't even know how to phrase it another way. She was genuine. She was authentic, and she does what is best for Christine. Not everybody's going to be able to hike and write a book. Not everybody's going to be able to go change the world for themselves right after college like Christine did. And not everybody's going to find their fiance in a parking lot with matching female socks. Okay? So today, realize that we got to witness, speak, and be inspired by someone who found what her passion is, and she changed the world by changing her world. Find your fire inside you today and change your world.
It is October. There's 3 months left, then this year is gone. It's been a hectic 2 years. Just go out and be kind. I've got 2 cards for you that popped out today. The one is find solitude. And the other one is control your thoughts. So going into the weekend, you need to take time for silence. Turn off the television, the radio, the telephone. Escape your family and friends. Sit in silence, just you with you, and reflect. Reflect on where you've been this week, where you're going in the new month, what your challenges is going to be, what your goals will be, and then just go out and slay them. And then the last one is control your thoughts, because thoughts are so dangerous when they're negative. It says your thoughts create your world. You are who you are today and where you are today because of what you thought about yesterday. Take control of your life by taking control of your thoughts. Today and this weekend, just push through, control your thoughts, be kind, love one another, and then we see you on Monday.
Love it. Well said, Elsa.
Well, hey, just listening to Christine, man, she got out of her comfort zone, man, and we all need to be doing that. When you get out there by yourself, like Elsa said, finding solitude, we all need to do that. And getting out of your comfort zone is a good thing to do, man. When you're in this place where you're just in this routine, you get in this damn rut, and a rut's nothing but a grave with the ends kicked out of it. So get out, stretch yourself, man. Go out there and do something different. Get out of your comfort zone, grow a little bit, make a difference in somebody else's life by making a difference in your own. Just go out there and do something you don't normally do. Get out of the rut, start experiencing life. Existence sucks. You need life, man. You need a lot of life. So go out there and do something you never did before and enjoy it. And do it alone if you have to, man. So have a good weekend, everybody.
I guess the best thing that I can say is if there's something that you want to be, a writer, a hiker, an engineer, whatever the thing is that you see and you think, I'll never be that. It's too far away. I'm not those things. Just look at what those people are doing and start doing those things. If you want to be a hiker, start walking, start carrying a backpack. If you want to be a writer, get a pen and paper and start writing. Like, the small things are what make you who you are. And have a happy weekend.
Yeah.
Guys, go follow Christine.
Brandon, let me say one
thing. Go ahead, Bob.
A lot of times, I just wrote something this morning, a lot of times we think things, and like Christine just said, we had the tendency of thinking, I can never do that or whatever. And if you just dare to believe, if you get a thought or something in your mind, in your spirit, man, dare to believe it. If you've got the courage to believe and pursue, you'll be amazed at what happens in your life. Just dare to believe the things that are in your heart, because they can be manifest.
True, Uncle Bob.
That's Bob. Bob is our preacher. He is our preacher man. We have COVID. He's got Bob's Biker Babes is the name of his following. So Bob's Bible Biker Babes. That's what it is.
A little stored on a babe thing, man.
It's got the Bibles and the bikes.
Bullwinkle hadn't had any Fender candy since Marie got on the
Fender candy? I've never heard it called that. Sometimes I never know what's going to come. I love it. Guys, go give Christine a follow on social media. Go purchase her book and find that fire inside you and get out of your comfort zone. Christine, you are welcome back anytime, and thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Have a great
welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you guys later.